Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 4GQ TV. We are trying out this vertical streaming for a little bit, see how it does. We get some new people in here doing it this way, and we had some fun chats last week, so we'll see where it takes us. If you're new to the chat, feel free to say hello. Paul loves a hello, and I like the hello. But we're going to talk about some things. Paul and I did some recent interviews that were really cool. We're going to talk about the Switch 2 price and the potential tariffs that threaten the American consumer on that price. We're going to talk a little bit about our excitement for South of Midnight, which went into early access today. And I'll talk a little bit about WonderCon and the Until Dawn stuff about what I know. I do know stuff that other people might not know about the universe. So it's in my interview, so I can talk about it. Paul, welcome. Welcome to the show. I hope you threw out all the pineapple pizza in the neighborhood.
I did. Yeah, I went door to door today and yelled at people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's what you got. You got to save your neighborhood one door at a time.
Okay. Hang on, I'm getting an echo. So let me hang on just a second. I'm getting an echo from the stream. So, because I turned it on so I could see the chat.
Could it be because you have Zoom as well?
Well, no, I got it. It would no my YouTube window. I usually keep it muted, but it was unmuted, so now it's done. So
Okay. So it's working now.
yep.
All right. All right. Paul is our also beta tester of our streams as well. He's been around the block. He knows a thing or two about videos and electronics.
Yeah, funny thing that, yeah.
So Paul, so one of the interviews we did recently was with Dan Asma for the Asma Journals. And I know that you're into horror and you recently watched some of the YouTube series, and it's like found footage, if I understand correctly. I haven't watched it.
Yep. Yep.
Can you let people know out there like what that was like and what you thought of it?
By the way, just in case anybody's wondering, it's asthma, ASMA, not asthma, as in, yeah, so, um, basically, it's a found footage. You know, this guy moves to this land, and they're going to work it up and stuff, and they start finding stuff, and it's it's very much, it's not. It does have a jump scare here and there, but it's not that, and it's not gory in any way, shape, or form that I've seen so far. It's more of a suspense thing, like what's going on, and each quote episode is 10 minutes, and if I understood him correctly, this season is going to cap off at 12 episodes, and I think most of them are up now. I think there might be one more left to do. So you can go to YouTube and you can catch that at the Asthma Journals. It's I will say, and he even says, you know, the first 6 episodes or so, they're kind of building stuff up, but after that, they really start to explain what's going on. And I found it really interesting the way, and sometimes there's very little dialogue. It's all what he's seeing, what he's hearing, or what the cameras are seeing and hearing, I should say, and a little bit of you know just suspense in a way. You kind of want to know what's up. At least that's where I'm at. And so I'm looking forward to catching more of that. I just haven't had time because I was busy today. So you want to check it out if you're into the found footage, the what's happening type of thing, and they've done a really good job. And I can't remember what old horror stuff he says he's worked on, but he's actually got a background in like helping produce movie trailers for some of the big movies that we've seen throughout the years and stuff. So he's not coming at it from somebody who doesn't know what he's doing. He's coming at it from somebody who loves horror and that kind of that genre and stuff like that. And he had a lot of great things to say. I found him very interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We did talk to him for a while too, and it was really cool to hear that he's filming up in the mountains, so it gives it that kind of realistic feel for the found footage of what he's trying to do. His bar of entry was really cost effective. He's filmed most of it on an iPhone with a lavalier by Hollyland. And he didn't get the expensive Hollylands. He got like the $50 Hollylands, he said. So that's great to hear for aspiring filmmakers and YouTubers out there that want to do this kind of stuff. And then he's got a crew of about 5 people. He has somebody that helps out every now and then with a boom arm if necessary, but most of it is just shot on the iPhone. And and he even publicly said this, so we're gonna say it. He finds a lot of assistance for post on Upwork or Fiverr.
Yep, for doing a lot of the production work stuff, some of the sound design and some of the special effects they did, they were done through. He found somebody through Fiverr and stuff. I guess the special effects guy is over in Europe somewhere. I don't remember where he said it was, but it's not even somebody who's local to him. He's in the mountains outside of San Diego, so he's in a beautiful area. And when you see some of the land that he shot, especially at the beginning of the first episode, you'd be like, "Wow!" I mean, because it looks like he's out in the middle of nowhere, but if you know that area, it has to do with camera angles and stuff. You know,
Oh yeah,
there's very little out there where you can shoot and not see anything, look like you don't see anything for miles and miles. You know,
uh, yeah. No, it's got to be good. I got to check it out. Like you said, he's doing 12 episodes for season one. He's going to take a break. He's going to have, I think, at least another season and try to tie it into an existing series he did that was short. That was kind of like a short series. So it would be
the series that he did on TikTok, which was the In Search of series. So anybody,
yes.
you may have seen some of that on TikTok, the In Search of series. He says altogether, all the TikToks equal about 2 hours worth of material. That's a
Yeah.
lot of material. That's especially on TikTok. When you really think about each TikTok thing is what, 3 minutes max or something.
Yeah, that's just it's really cool.
Yeah.
And after that, we had another amazing interview with Nico Santucci, which you came on last minute for, which ended up being a really cool interview. First off, Nico is a known restaurateur, entrepreneur. He owns Capos in Las Vegas, which is a mob themed speakeasy kind of restaurant. It has pictures of Al Capone. It's a really cool place. He just opened Capo's Pizza as well. And the name of the movie, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, but it was like Saraghetto that he filmed.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now because I was never clear what he was saying either. But you know,
Paul will fact check me on it if he needs to.
I'm looking it up. Yeah, Sarajevo,
Yes.
Sarogeto.
And that movie is something like that's a personal interest of his, like a love letter to him. His writing. He basically said that he went and he hired real people from Japan to help out with this project because he wanted to make sure that it was culturally acceptable, culturally correct. He wanted, like, even the costume design, he wanted to make sure that it was correct. So I think when you have somebody that loves filmmaking that much and puts that much heart and effort into something, that is just amazing and breathtaking. And the fact that he was able to get it done, that says a lot when you love to do something.
Absolutely, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet, but it looks really interesting.
No,
And
it
the
looks
way he described it, he said he put a lot of detail into it, and when we get to, hopefully we'll get the interview up soon because it really he explains it better than either one of us could. And because we talk about a lot of it, well, we talked about how much he made sure to make sure it was culturally correct and that he didn't want to insult the people or the story or anything like that. So he made sure to do his due diligence and things like that, which is good because as we know nowadays, everybody's jumping on it's not culturally correct thing because we had a laugh about it. It's about the life of two Japanese women and what they're going through in their life, and he's an Italian male, with a very Italian name, and you go, so people are going to see this movie about two Japanese women written by you know Nico Santucci and go, wait, what? Yeah. So, but he said it is one of his passion project in his interest area. So I can't wait to see it, and I think everybody should check it out.
absolutely, yeah. It's something. So check it out on the channel when we
Oh,
upload it.
and real
Also,
quick, I'm looking at it. It won awards at Cannes, which if you're a film festival guy, Cannes is the De La Cannes is like the Oscars for
yes,
independent film.
Yeah, it's a very big undertaking, a big place to even be, but to premiere your film there is a huge deal. So the other things that we have going on before we get into some of the major topics is that I just got back from WonderCon and did some interviews there with the Until Dawn cast. And I do have some news that I can reveal about Until Dawn that other people might not have touched on. So if you are a fan of Until Dawn or know about the video game series, you'll know that the movie adaptation is a little bit different than the game, because in the movie, time resets. It keeps resetting every time they die at night, and they have to figure out how to live till morning. Well, in the game, there's permadeath, so it's a little bit different there. Now, what was very interesting when I talked to David Sandberg, the director, and his wife, Lotta Lawson, who's the producer, one thing that they wanted to definitely do is make sure that some of it is accurate to the game. So there's Easter eggs in there related to the game. But this movie expands the Until Dawn universe. In fact, it expands it so much that they're hoping they can get greenlit for future projects in this universe that continue it. So just past the video game into the movie, and then whatever else spawns from the movie, whether it's a sequel, whether it's a TV series, or even another game that spawns after the movie. They really want this to develop into a world for Until Dawn. And Sony seems to be on board. They love the idea of the movie. In fact, they helped produce it. Might say his name wrong. Everybody knows I say last name wrong, so apologize. Carter Swan from PlayStation Studios was there to help. He helped produce the movie. He was at WonderCon. Talked to Ella Rubin and Michael Cimino, who are actors in the movie. They play Max and Clover, and they just have a great chemistry together as a cast. I mean, the whole cast, even Dessa does, and
so I have a question, because I didn't think of. Was anybody from Supermassive there
no.
who did the game? So nobody from the interesting.
Yeah. No, but David Sandberg made sure to be in touch with Supermassive during the production, and he also made sure that Sony was happy with the product that they were producing.
Yeah, because if anybody knows me and pays attention on my Twitter, especially every time Supermassive releases a game, I'm all over it. I'm a major Supermassive fan. I don't think there's one game they've done that I have not enjoyed immensely.
And I also spoke to writer Gary Dauberman. He also confirmed that he's really hoping that this, in his words, he's hoping that Sony allows us to expand the universe. So he said it's slightly different to David Sandberg, but David Sandberg says it does expand it. Gary Dauberman says he hopes it expands it. So picking up on those two right there, meaning it's going to expand it. I mean, right. that kind of just confirms it. One could say it, one can't, maybe based on the title. But Gary Dauberman and David Sandberg, you may know them for being part of the Annabelle series, The Nun, It, the remake of It. So when I got to speak to them, I didn't know much about horror, and I wish Paul was there because he knew a little bit more. I did ask him, though, with Annabelle, because they did the sequels for Annabelle. They didn't do the first one. I said, did you research the Ed and Lorraine Warren files? And he's like, no, because, it wasn't really part of the original case. It was kind of like a sequel, independent from the original story, so they didn't have to reach out that far into it, and they had more creative freedom. But a lot of improv Until Dawn. I heard that there's some found footage in there that they revealed as well. The cast chemistry was great, so they allowed the cast to do some things that were improv. They just kept it in. So
all I know is I'm going to be just like playing a game. I'm going to be screaming at the screen, "Don't go there! Don't open that door! Get away from that guy!"
And then after that, I got to go to the panel by Sony at WonderCon, and Ji Yoon, one of the actresses in the movie, and Ella Rubin, they were discussing this. And so sometimes some actors have to do green screen acting, and some like to do practical acting, like they don't like a green screen. So for Ella Rubin, when she saw the Wendigo and it wasn't a green screen, it was practical, she could react to it. And she was saying that Ji Yoon is talented because Ji Yoon could do, green screen acting really well. And that's how she got picked for the movie. She went to her agent's office, went in front of a blue screen, and screamed her heart out for this so-called bathroom scene that is notorious in the movie already. Now, what we do know about the bathroom scene in the movie, and you're going to hear this first, or if you watch some of the other press channels that have covered it, the bathroom scene is going to be the most goriest scene in Until Dawn. In fact, it was so gory that they had to film it on the last day because it trashed the set.
Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite kind of.
So
yeah. We're going to do practical and we're going to destroy everything. Okay, cool.
And they planned that out like 3 months in advance. So it wasn't like an overnight thing. So, there's some quality work when David Sandberg, who's involved in a lot of horror stuff, and Gary Doverman, who's written a lot of horror stuff. Paul knows this as a horror fan. When you have that kind of, creative talent in your veins in horror, and then you plan something out so long in advance to make this practical effect, it's going to be good.
Yep. Basically, we've got one take to do this because there's no resetting. Okay, so don't screw up.
So that was a lot of fun to listen to, and I hope everybody checks out Until Dawn. It comes out April 25th, but there's another movie I got to interview some of the cast for by Angel Studios. It's King of Kings, and it's a Christian movie based on the life and times of Jesus Christ, written from Charles Dickens' perspective, telling his son. So it was like, as James Arnold Taylor said, it was like a catalyst for the movie. And if you may not, or you may know James Arnold Taylor, he is a well-known voice actor who's been in a lot of Star Wars stuff, including Clone Wars. He usually works across Mark Hamill. And for him, this was like a love letter because he just did a prior movie called Hidden Blessings based on a biblical story from the prodigal son. So he was super excited to be part of this film, as he is very Christian. Then there was interviewed him, and then Fred Tatasciore, who I think has voiced Bender from Futurama.
Right.
He just loved being part of it because he's friends with so many members of the cast and, well-established voice actors. And then I got to interview Rob Edwards, who's the co-writer or writer, however you want to title it, on Captain America Brave New World. And to him, this also was basically a love letter because he grew up religious. His father was a dean and acolyte. And for him, this was just something that he just really wanted to do. And in fact, he said he also was part of Princess and the Frog. And he said, Princess and the Frog had religious themes, but it wasn't just, completely outspoken like this movie is. So he had the honor of being able to translate it from the original creators that wrote it in Korean, which were there also. And I can't say their name properly, so I'm going to apologize. But one is nicknamed Whoosh. And they were very kind to speak to me and give me as much time as I needed with the translator. They were just very good people, very proud that they were able to get this out of Korea. Because, when you take something that's written in another language and try to translate it to American and get studios and people behind it, sometimes things can get lost in translation. But they were so happy with Rob Edwards' take on this and how it came to screen. And this is something that's been in the works for 15 years.
Wow.
So that if they were that dedicated to keep it going and finding the right people, the right studio to produce this, that it's going to be something that's quality work. And the one perspective is that they want to let everybody know is whether you're Christian or not, there's some good things in here, parables about moral values and just being a good person. You don't have to be Christian to see the message, although they hope it helps in some ways as well. So I'm looking forward to that. That drops on April 11th. Also, real quick, Paul, I want to do a quick mention. This movie doesn't get talked about enough, but the Minecraft movie's coming out with Jack Black. I know the first trailer wasn't very appetizing, but I will say this. I saw a new trailer in the movies, and it looked a lot better. They really did hype it up more, and it's got John Cena in there.
Which may be the only, the bits I've seen with him. It looks like, part of it looks like it's going to be fun. I'm not expecting an Oscar-worthy movie here. I'm just expecting some fun, hopefully. So,
yeah, absolutely. So that was great. I can't wait to see that. Oh, it looks funny in the trailer. But
yeah.
Paul, I mean, one of our biggest topics right now, and if anybody's in the chat, feel free to drop and say hello, whatever it might be. But one of the things right now that we want to talk about, that really, oh, should we save it for last, Paul, and go to South of Midnight, or should
Yeah,
we?
I think we should save the big red elephant in the room for last. Yeah,
Uh,
the very expensive red elephant in the
the
room. Yes.
the Super Mario elephant, right? Uh, all right, Paul, take it away with South at Midnight because you're probably more hyped for this than I am, but it does look good. So, Paul, tell us about South at Midnight from what you know. And
Well, I really don't know a whole lot outside of what I've seen. I know the reviews have dropped. I guess on Metacritic or whatever, it's got a composite of 75, which are big. Oh my God, don't let us. But but most of the individual scores, a lot of them are pretty high. The only thing I've seen from a couple of different people, and I haven't really dug deep because this every game like this that I'm interested in, I try not to get too much information on because I want to go in. Okay, I don't want to have too many preconceived. This is what it's going to be. You know, except for accessibility. I still don't know how well I'm going to play the game. Nobody has said anything, but yeah, that's okay. Is that some of the fighting is can get repetitive. Um, but then again, I play Assassin's Creed. Repetitive is in my name, so Um, and I'm enjoying Assassin's Creed, by the way. I am still looking forward to this. I believe it drops in 1 week from today. I believe. Um,
for which one?
for South of Midnight. Doesn't it drop 1 week from today?
I thought it was early access. Maybe I'm wrong. You might be
I know
right.
all the reviews dropped today, but I don't know that.
All right, let's see. I'm looking at the launch times and
Yeah,
release times. So early access unlocks on April 3rd.
which is today. So yeah.
Okay. So maybe the full route, maybe the not early access comes out a little bit later. Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, did I pay for early access for that one? I don't think so. If I did, why am I not playing it? But we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Uh, so I do like that they have done. It's really like a love letter to uh, stop motion animation. It's a love letter to the South and different cultures and vibes from what I get from different reviews. So I'm happy that this was produced and made. I'm happy is coming out. And I'm happy for everybody that's going to get to enjoy this. Let's just get back to it, right? Let's enjoy games. That's
Yep.
what life's about, is just having fun playing games.
Yep. And I've always been interested in this game ever since day one, because it is the lore is based on real lore from that part of, New Orleans or that area, Louisiana. So that alone has me interested.
Yeah.
But I will go back to what I've said on other shows, including this one before. All I see when I see that big fish jumping out of the water is, God, the smell. Because if you've ever been around river trout, yeah, they smell fishy. Magic or not, that's got to be pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
catfish, rather. Catfish, yeah, he's a catfish, but he's a big old boy.
and it's got a nice alligator or crocodile in it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
think
mean,
that's the same one that took Hook's hand. I'm pretty sure. Uh,
yeah, that's my buddy Barry. I call him Barry. I
and
got to name
Barry.
him Barry. Yeah, Barry the alligator. No, I mean, let's talk about the Switch 2. It's I'm very disappointed in a lot of things here with the Switch 2. First off, let's talk about the hardware. It's not like a major exciting piece of hardware. However, 1080p 120 frames per second for Nintendo might be mind blown, but for most gamers, it's like this should have been out like 6 years ago. The hardware price, I think for Nintendo is okay. I think $449 is okay for hardware. $500 for a bundle is okay with the Mario Kart World. But when we start talking about and thinking about the tariffs coming inbound, where you're looking at anywhere from 46 to 49% tariffs on this. And then you take the price of a game, right? It's $80 for a digital game, $90 for a physical game. Add that 40, let's just say 49% tariff, add the sales tax, you're looking at like 134 to 140 bucks a game.
And that's in the U.S. and Canada. They're getting screwed even more.
Yeah, they might be paying more in Canada. Or it may, if they pay less, some people are going to cross the border just to get it in Canada. Yeah, no, I think that with this kind of thing, it's definitely a price grab. I don't think Nintendo needs to charge that much with how well the Switch sold and the games on the Switch sold, unless they're not truthful on how well the sales were and they're trying to recoup cost. I don't know. But what I do know is that I hear all these arguments on Twitter, Paul, and I want to address it. I hear this argument like, well, back in the day, games were like $59.99, and that's like paying like $80 today, dude. And
Actually,
with
I did the math yesterday. 69.99 from like 1997 or whatever is now approximately $130. So
so you hear this argument a lot, right? And there's something to say to those people with this argument. First of all, okay, so your math is math in one sense, right? Like the inflation to dollar value ratio, you are correct on that. However, what you're not taking into account is the macroeconomic scale of this. Is that back then, less people had consoles, less people played video games at home. So when they sold it for that price, they based it on the market of how many people also had the potential of attachment rate. Today, in today's world, gaming has exploded past music and movies as one of the top forms of entertainment underneath makeup. Like makeup's still number one, but gaming is right there below it. So if it tells you that games have been able to stay at the same price, consoles have risen a little bit, yes, but games have been able to stay at the same price, and the market still exploded into this $1 trillion market that we have today, and massive amounts of studios we have today, massive amounts of developers, schooling, whatever, all around the video game industry. It tells you that it's successful because they stayed the same price. And what I mean by that, and Paul will attest to this probably in a few moments here, is that even people on fixed incomes or lower incomes have been able to continue afford gaming for their families. We are facing an economic crisis in America right now of housing cost increase, even rent, okay, because it's not being regulated. We're facing a food inflation crisis. We're facing gas inflation. Everything's going up.
yep. And let me just say, since you mentioned it, I'm going to point this out to those who go, the tariffs won't affect us that bad. Okay, look, when housing prices go up, rent goes up because guess what? Your landlord ain't going to eat that. Nope, nope, no. He's going to pass it on to his renters. You know, if his costs to have his property goes up 20%, your rent goes up 20%. You know, because he wants his profit margins, and it's the same with tariffs. If you honestly think that, oh no, the companies the companies in China and the companies in Germany, they're going to be the ones paying the tariffs, you don't think they're going to pass that down to the customer? Yes, they are, because they're going to pass it down to the U.S. distributor, and the U.S. distributor is going to pass it down to who he goes to, and then the stores that they go to are going to pass it down to you, the customer. There's no way around it. This is not a good thing. We don't want this. We shouldn't want this. We need to understand it's not going to go, oh my God, my costs are going to go up. I'm going to go manufacture stuff in the United States. Okay. You know how long it takes to open a factory in any of the states in this country? It's not something they can just go, I want that building and the factory will open next month. You've got to get all the equipment. You've got to get people hired. You've got to get people trained. You've got to get all the permits. You've got to get all kinds of stuff. So you're looking at a few years anyway. So yeah. So, and this is all going to bite us in the butt. Yeah, and this may sound political, but it all does go back to this is going to push the cost of the Nintendo Switch, the cost of the games because they come out of China, and China is one of the places that was pretty hitty hard with the tariffs today. You know,
Yeah,
so
Vietnam is facing.
Vietnam, yeah,
They're all facing it. So,
yeah,
and you guys need to know this too. This is important. So these $90 price tags are not because of tariffs. Okay, this is Nintendo saying we want to charge you $90 for our games. The tariffs come after all this.
yeah.
After all this, so that's pre-tariff price.
Which
Pre-tariff price.
which I don't get, given that Nintendo's games probably have the lowest cost to produce than any of the other companies. Because yeah, their thing will do 4K, yeah, but it's not. I guarantee it's not going to do 4K 120. I guarantee that. I saw a bunch of caveat, little itty bitty writing on the thing yesterday. During I think they're trying to get it to cap at a minimum of 60 for 4K, but we'll see how that works in the real world. And that's something I've been saying. I said it with the PS5 Pro. I've said it with everything. They release these specs, they release these stats, and they go, "Here's what we're gonna do." And I'm always like, wait till you see it in real world use. Wait till you see what the actual home users say about the performance, and then you'll find the truth. Because we learned with the PS5 that it isn't all they cracked it up to be. We learned with the Xbox and with the Series X and the Series S, as good as they are, they weren't everything they were touted to be. There are always a couple of games or whatever that hit those marks, but then a lot of the games do not. And also with I know it wasn't really my turn, but I'm kind of taking over with Nintendo. A lot of the games that if you go back and watch it, and they'll tell you all the caveats of this feature won't work with these games. This feature won't work with these games. You can only, this feature will only work with these games. So there's a whole lot of, not like you're going to be able to throw in your old games and get all this new stuff that they've added, because that's not going to work like that. I think there's going to be a lot of people who weren't paying attention yesterday that are going to be, but how come it's not? They said it would do this. It's not doing this because they said in small writing on the bottom of the screen that it's not going to work for that. So
And the other thing I want to talk about is, again, just to reiterate, so the price of the system is $449. Great price, by the way, for this system. However,
that's without a game. That's without a game.
Yeah, that's without a game. Then you add the 49% tariffs, and it jumps it up to $655.
Yep.
Shout out to Yobi in the chat. I just want to congratulate him that he's doing the no food fast. That's a very hard one to start and keep up with. And he's got 29 hours to go on the fasting. He's just drinking water to stay hydrated, which has been working for him. So Yobi, congratulations, man. You've been looking good. Glad to see it. It's always good to take care of your health and find something that works for you. So congratulations on that, man, because it's definitely a struggle. In this world today, with all the temptations and food out there, it is a struggle, my friend. So big shout out to you. Yeah.
It's easier for me. I just can't afford food, so then it's easy not to eat. No, I'm kidding.
But I think, $655 is going to hit the casual market. Hey, what's up, Graphic God? It's going to hit the casual market, and the parents are going to go, wait a minute, am I going to spend $655 in America for this? Like, can I afford this for my kid? My waitress job at Denny's, I'm making, like maybe $10 an hour plus tips. No, you're not. I mean, the average family's not going to be able to afford it with the tariffs. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a problem. Oh, we paid more for stuff if you take the price of Atari with inflation. Let me tell you something, okay? Back in the days of Atari, almost every family had some type of job in their household that they could go to and go to work. They had many different blue collar jobs that paid well for their time. They had strong unions back then in blue collar towns. They had they
I will say though, because we had the Atari 2600, but this is the Christmas gift for the family. They were that expensive comparatively. They weren't cheap, you know. They were comparatively they were upwards of $1,000, really, you know. But it did seem like everybody had one, but that means everybody cut corners, because everybody had to have it, you
but
know.
but I also think back then, like, I think there was more opportunities to work too than there is
Right.
today. I think finding a job today is actually harder than back then, because back then you still had stuff that was being evolved that people weren't
Yep.
replaced by yet. You know, people still typed on the typewriter back then. Where did that
Yep.
go? Do you still have the typewriter, people? Do you still have? Is that a
Well,
job
yeah,
anymore?
you
Typewriter?
have you have keyboarding now, so it's almost the same. You just don't have to hit the keys as hard, you know.
Yeah, and the computer can erase, right? You don't have to white out and redo articles back then, and then send it to an
Right.
editor on paper to read. You could just email it. So these are all things that have definitely changed since then.
Yep. And and that doesn't count because go back and look at what it really said. Because not only is there the cost of the base system, then there's oh yeah, the optional equipment you can buy to make it do everything we've shown you. A joystick here, an additional thing there. It's like okay, to make this thing fully functional, it's gonna run people upwards of $1,000 if they want to get all that stuff.
Yeah, and
And
so yeah, so you know your kid, you got two kids at home. They both want to switch in America. You're looking at $1,300 with tariffs. Then maybe they don't want the bundle with Super Mario Kart World. Maybe they want a different game, right? So that's $90. Unless you get digital for 80, you save $10. I don't know if you're really going to do that. And now both your kids, now Nintendo's got the family share, but maybe both your kids want their own physical cartridge so they can say, "Look, I got one too." So now you're looking at another $180. By the time you're done, it could be upwards $1,500, $1,600. I don't know who can do that right now. I honestly
yeah,
don't.
and that doesn't count if you have the older games. If you want the joystick that's going to allow you to play the the old Nintendo games, the purple joystick with the it's just and I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but that cute little thing that's going to show you all the things the Switch can do and what all the different buttons do and how to use it. That's going to cost you $7. I'm not kidding you. They're asking you to pay $7 for what is essentially a quick start guide.
So
And so,
you want to play with magnets? You want to play with magnets, Paul?
yeah,
They had the magnets thing on there. I don't know, man. I think the price is gonna drive a lot of people away. Until the tariffs go away, I think a lot of Americans are gonna be like, "No, I can't do this. I can't
I
afford
think
it."
even after the tariffs go away, I think Nintendo is very much leaning into the nostalgia of things, going, hey, people have bought all this stuff before, and and a lot of their games, they're doing what they've done before. You want the newer, best version of the game? We're going to release the upgraded version of the game for this unit, and people are going to pay full price for that stuff. You know, and I just part of me is like, as long as people do that, they're going to keep doing that. But I honestly think the market is changing, and I think Nintendo might be surprised at how the response they're. I don't think they're going to get as high a response as they think they're going to get. Uh,
No.
you know, when people can, with the exception of the Nintendo exclusives, and there are a lot of them, um, that a lot of the games they showed were third party, and you could get it on your Asus ROG Ally, you could get it on your Steam Deck. So that people have other portable options to play those games on now. So
And it plays at better frame rates.
yeah, and it plays at better frame rates, and and I mean the Mario racing game looks cool, and I said when I was in chat when I was watching ILP talk about it because I was watching the show live with them. Um, it basically it's Mario Forza Horizon. It's like ooh, you have all these different race types, and you can go in overland to get from race to race to race and do all these events, and all of it's like it's Forza Horizon with Mario. It's what it is, and it looks great. It doesn't look $90 great to me. It doesn't look $80 great to me. If, maybe 60, because it's still animated stuff. Um, but we'll see. I there's not enough there for me to go, hey, I gotta have this. Because I'm not a Switch person necessarily. And all the games they talked about that are like some of these games, Cyberpunk 2077. Gee, I played that 4 years ago, and now it's coming on the Switch. Even a game I really liked, High on Life, is coming to the Switch and the Switch 2. I played that 2 years ago. So a lot of these games, unless you've only ever owned a Switch and you haven't played, you haven't had a PC and you haven't had an Xbox, and you haven't had a PlayStation, then they might be new to you. Otherwise, I can't see a lot of these third-party games, people going, hey, I need to buy that again. You know, I need to buy that again so I can play it on what is essentially, again, this is not state-of-the-art hardware by any means. They said at its max, it will probably push about the same technical level as a PS4 Pro. So just like the original Switch, which was 3 years out of date with its chips and stuff, this is 4 to 5 years out of date with its chips and stuff. So I don't get it. Why are you going to pay, even if you didn't have the tariffs and stuff? Why are you going to pay $456 for the base unit and then $90 for a game? I don't. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And when I talk about this, I want you guys to know that I like Nintendo. Okay, I'm a huge fan of the Super Nintendo. I was a huge fan of the Nintendo Entertainment System. Jay knows I always mocked the Sega Genesis because I liked Super Nintendo more. Now, I really wanted the Switch too. I really do. I really want the Switch too because I like Super Mario Kart. That's like, I always want Nintendo stuff just to play Super Mario Kart. But this one, I don't know if I can support what they're doing. I don't think it's right. I don't even think what GTA is doing is right at $100. I didn't think what's
and just to be, that has not been confirmed. Do not.
Well, we think it's gonna be there. We think it's gonna be there, right? Like, so. Do you remember when 2K went to $70 and everybody was complaining? I didn't support 2K when they did that, right? I'm not with these kind of price increases in an industry where they make so much money and the money goes to the top. It doesn't even go to the developers or the artistic talent. Like, it trickle down effect is not what it seems in the game industry, and that also bothers me a little bit. Like, like, you seen the stories.
In fact, that reminds me of the meme I always see for, how, the explanation, how trickle down economics work. The people at the top get a lot of money. That's it. That's where it stops. That's it. None of it trickles anywhere.
You see what happened with the studio at Destiny, right? I mean, you saw what happened where people called out the studio head for buying those fancy cars and then the layout. So honestly, it bothers me inside as a person because I value everybody that works somewhere and I think that everybody deserves a piece of the pie. And man, I really love Super Mario. So this hurts, guys. This really hurts me deep inside. Some people might call me a fan of other systems and whatnot, but I love
some people call him a space cowboy.
Yeah. But I just like gaming.
He doesn't get the reference. He's too young.
I do. Yeah, no, I do. Listen, John Lovitz called you a rhinestone cowboy. So I just want to say that I love gaming in general. I want prices to stay affordable for everybody. I don't want to see anybody ever priced out of something, ever priced out of a hobby, because once we start seeing that, then the hobby declines. And as it goes down this deep dive and a decline, we see less artistic talent come for the hobby because the jobs are drying up. and they're only producing so much, and people are moving to other places. So I don't know, Paul. That's my rant on this. Like, do you agree with me on some of this?
Yeah, I plus, and then there's the other thing. What they're at launch, they're trying to set up ways so that the quote bots or the resellers won't get their hands on as many consoles and stuff at launch, and they're trying to they're doing things like they're gonna put people who have previously have a Nintendo Switch up front, and they're gonna look at how many hours they played on there, and all kinds of weird things to try to cut out some of the crap. But then again, even if sales don't go as high as they think they should, and they've been known to do this before, they'll do a fake inflationary thing where they say, "Oh, supply, demand is outpacing supply," and you're gonna go, "Yeah, right," because then people start to think, "Oh my God, I gotta get it now, or I'm not gonna be able to get it," and that's exactly why they do that, because then the FOMO kicks in for people, man, and they're like, "Oh my God, if I don't get it now, I'm not gonna be able to get it till Christmas." you know, because I heard somebody saying, they're going to do their first big push now at drop at release, and then they aren't probably going to restock anybody until around Christmas. So even just saying that kind of puts in people's heads, oh, I better get it now, or I'm not going to be able to get it till next year. And so they depend on that. I would say personally, even if you were into the Switch, if you've already got one, if you can hold off, because like you said, hopefully these tariffs will go away sooner than later. Um, Assuming we still have a economy to work with sooner than later. But
So hopeful, Paul. So hopeful.
um, I would say, if you want to get it, try to get it, but I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go busting my wallet to do it, and I definitely wouldn't be hitting up eBay the day after and buying it for 4 times the price. Because
We can get an executive order on concert tickets and rescalp them. We can't get an executive order on scalping of video games. We can't get an executive order on cap and rent prices, but we can get it on concert tickets for scalpers.
that's right.
I mean,
So it's going to be interesting to watch. And from what I saw, I didn't watch it because I forgot it was they did it. They did 4 hours of real gameplay on the Switch 2 on the channel today. This was their second day of their big thing. And some of what I saw said it was, it's all right. And again, even then, I don't necessarily watch, when they start showing stuff online, like on YouTube or on Twitch, and they go, "Look at this, beautiful! It's in 4K." I'm like, I'm looking at it through a stream of a stream on my screen with my stuff, so the colors aren't necessarily going to pop correctly, and if they are, I don't know if it's been pre-recorded. Did you guys muck with it? And I'm not just talking about Nintendo. I do it with all of them. When Xbox does this stuff, when Sony does this stuff, to do comparative stuff. Look how much better it looks, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, it doesn't look better. You know, so personally, like I said, I kind of want one, but yeah. But again, I'm a firm believer. Wait till real people get it in their real hands, and they aren't basically pumping for the company. That they don't, it's like look at like let's remember what's his name, Mark Cerny, is that, and that little thing he did for PlayStation a few months ago. That was painful. That was, and it turns out a lot of it was crap. Uh, so I mean, if you really feel like you got to have one, go for it. But like I said, and like he said, especially with the tariffs kicking in, sure, it says the website says what it says now, but by the time pre-orders go up next week, it may be a whole new story. So let's see, because the only way those tariffs aren't going to affect the initial cost is if they're already in country now. Basically, if they're sitting there stocked up now, okay, which is the way they would have. Personally, if it was me, that's the way I would have done it. Let's get it in there before the tariffs kick in, and they're sitting in a warehouse somewhere. because if they're not, it's going to cost those companies a lot to bring them in after. Because what is it? They next week opens the pre-orders and what they're supposed to drop in the first week of June, right? June 3rd, I believe, something like that. So that's another 2 months away, 3 months away. So yeah, if see, I don't know how they're going to handle that. Are they gonna honor the pre-orders at the price they give, or they're gonna eat all those tariffs, or are everybody who pre-ordered it gonna start getting those nice little email notices saying, "Hey, we have new tariffs and VATs that we need to cover, so you need to pay an additional, 45, 50, $60." This is going to be an interesting situation to watch. Yeah. Oops, I lost you. Did you mute yourself?
I did. I muted myself. I was looking for other gaming news as well because this tariff stuff really has me sad.
Right.
In some senses. So there's some good news here. You can get Minecraft Legends for free on Xbox or PC
Ooh.
if you have Prime Gaming, Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, Gravity Circuit. I was looking at this as well. Also, we should do a shout out to the legend Val Kilmer, man. Like, it's a shame what happened. Oh, you've seen many of his movies growing up, haven't you?
Almost all of them.
How did this news sound to you? Like when you heard it, how did you feel?
It shocked me, because I love I loved Iceman and Tower. A lot of the ones everybody talks about. My favorite of his is probably in Tombstone when he plays Doc Holliday. I'm your Huckleberry. He did a great job there, and of course, the one nobody mentions, he was also on the reboot of Knight Rider in 2000. He was the voice of Kit. So
Yes, and Kit is a classic. If you like classic TV shows, you remember the movie, the remake, you know that
yep.
that is epic right there to get to do something like that. So shout out to the legend, man, Val Kilmer. Even Tom Cruise talked about him recently. It's just sad to see this kind of stuff.
And it was sad. The last couple of years was sad because remember, he could no longer speak. He lost his voice. Yeah.
Yes, that's very rough for somebody as well to go
Yep.
through that kind of stuff.
So yeah, ripped to Val Kilmer, and he was, I believe, 65. I think he's just under 10 years older than me, or yeah, about 7 years older than me. So, God, I feel old.
Don't we
So yeah,
all?
actually, and there were quite a few people passed away over the last week or so that were, but I can't remember any of the others. But yeah, it's getting to that point. Almost everybody from my childhood is passing away. So that's when you start to feel older, when you realize that everybody you grew up with is no longer with us. You know, in fact, probably going to watch Tombstone tonight. I've been meaning to get to it the last couple of nights, but I've been busy. So,
Have you, Paul? Real quick, have you seen any kind of movies lately that you want to talk about?
uh, have I really? Let's see. What have I? Not really. You know what I've been binging as we had this Walker Texas Ranger is what I've been binging.
Okay, okay.
And man, some of that stuff is definitely 90s camp, a lot of it. But I will say this, unlike the A Team and a lot of shows of that era, 80s, 90s, where there was always the violence where people were shot at but never died. Yeah, Walker didn't do that. Walker actually snapped necks and threw people off buildings and crap like that. That they weren't getting back up. And I gotta say, I forgot they deal with some pretty serious issues too. They dealt with you see this kid basically commit suicide, and I'm like, wow, this is but at the same time, when they would do their drug awareness or their gang awareness shows, a lot of it all of a sudden smacked of the old after school specials, where it all kind of got wrapped up in 48 minutes. and everybody's happy, yay! And you're like, wow, this is aged bad. Or the a lot of montages with really bad '90s music.
Oh, yes.
I,
That is the truth right there.
I gotta say though that if you gotta watch any Walker, the first half of the last season with what's his name, the guy who voices Sam Fisher, uh, Michael Ironside.
Oh,
He has a running arc through like 6 episodes where he plays a very bad guy. Those 6 or so episodes are incredible. So, but yeah, I'm almost to the end of that series run. Then I'm gonna have to find something else to watch. Of course, and I haven't watched this week's episode yet. The Punisher. I hear this week's episode is very good. Uh,
Punisher, Daredevil?
Daredevil, rather, yeah, yeah, it's all the same. Punisher, Daredevil, whatever. No,
All
I'm
the same
kidding.
universe. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've got to catch up on that. Other than that, I haven't really been aside from playing a lot of World of Warcraft and a lot of Assassin's Creed and some Adamfall. What about
Okay.
you?
So I've been watching Yellow Jackets. I think it's a good show. At first, I wasn't into it, and then it slowly crept up on me. It's got like this. It's got like this intense suspense drama, but it's got like a horror suspense with it. There's actually some horror vibes in this, which I was surprised to see. And I'm not a horror fan, but I still like it. So that's been really good. I've been watching that. And games have been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I've been enjoying. I don't see the hate for it. People say as you get further in, it might get a little boring for some people. But so far for me, I think the story is great. It really picks up fast. I'm enjoying it. And I'm playing a game that I can't talk about until April 8th, which is a really fun game. I interviewed the team at PAX last year. Uh,
Everybody's gonna go dig into our stuff now. Where's the pack stuff?
so there's that and Balatro. I've been playing Balatro. I think that's a great game they put in Game Pass. That's fantastic. Adamfall. I have a love-hate relationship with Adamfall, Paul. Like I love the vibe and the environment and the Fallout kind of feel, but it feels a lot like it's barren in some areas. There's not a lot of interaction. Uh
See, again, this is something I don't have a problem with. It's an area that was decimated by a nuclear disaster. So I don't, and this is only 5 years after the disaster, so I don't expect to see a lot of people wandering around picking flowers and.
Hey, they're not picking flowers. What about growing plants and coffee beans and
in what is basically a nuclearized, yeah, no. Plus, when you're outside the city, it's got some pretty nasty guys out there. So if you haven't
uh,
run into the druids yet, they'll kick your butt. I'm telling you. So there is a little bit of magic in that game, and it just they whomp you.
well, guys, if there's anything you want us to talk about, type it in the chat. Paul, anything else you want to bring up, talk about?
I am trying to think. I can't really think of much. Let me see. I'm interested. I don't know that there are many people in the chat, but like everybody knows I'm big into wrestling, but because my wrestling cohort has not been around because he's been busy with life and stuff. We have WrestleMania coming up in like 3 weeks. Would anybody be interested if I were to? We can't stream it on the channel, but I can do a watch along where I'm watching it and reacting as the show goes on for that Saturday and Sunday. Is there anybody be interested in hanging out with me and watching me do that on stream? Because people do that. But yeah, I need an outlet. I need nobody. I got all this wrestling stuff, and I got nobody to talk to.
We gotta
So,
bring it. We gotta bring that wrestling stuff back on the channel.
yep. So if anybody's watching this, and let us know on X or Twitter if you'd be interested in doing a watch along. And if I know you, maybe we can even get you in the party. We can talk about it as it goes on. You know, because I know I watched the last pay per view and people do that online. They can't show it. We'll get busted if we do that, but they show themselves. It's a reaction thing. You're watching it and you're talking about it as it goes on. Either that or I can do like it is a 2 night thing this year again, Saturday and Sunday. We already know what the Saturday we know what both the main events are going to be for Saturday and Sunday. Um, so I get what I could do. I guess the other thing I could do if people would be interested in the content is like a Saturday wrap up and then put something up real quick and then a Sunday wrap up, a recap, and then put something up on Sunday night as well. So I don't know, but if anybody's watching this, let me know if that'd be content you'd be interested in.
Yeah, Yobi said that he was interested in doing some wrestling stream and stuff, but he had to pick up a second job. Man, Miami is a rough place economically right now. Like the costs
Yeah.
of just rent alone there. I don't know how.
Well, yeah,
people
because Miami's basically the Florida equivalent of like Los Angeles or San Francisco, that type of thing. A big city, outrageous prices to survive, and you've got to,
It's
you
because
know,
they also have a nice beach area, like
yeah,
with South Beach is like very popular. The nightclub scene in Miami is very popular, so it's all parts of the cost of living there. Unfortunately, they also have
yep.
some really good food. I will say that. Like I
I
hear a
blame I
lot of
blame Will Smith because that song he did in the '90s called Miami. It drew all the people in. Yeah.
wow, Paul. But he was born, East Philadelphia, born and raised,
No, no,
or
that
was
was
it?
the guy that the show was
That was
based on.
West Philadelphia. Yeah.
No.
Um. No, but everybody who came out to watch tonight, Graphic God in the chat, Yobi in the chat, I want to thank you guys. Always appreciate it. We're trying to do
Oh,
some more.
I will say that the teaser trailer is out for the new Naked Gun movie.
Yes, Liam Nelson's in it.
Neeson, Liam
Neeson.
Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, you
Oh,
you keep
I
calling
had
him
to,
Liam Nelson, and he has a certain set of skills, and he will find you.
I had
And
to, I had to correct Paul there. Liam Neeson. But no, everybody, thanks for coming out watching. We're trying to do some more vertical streams. We want to hit a different type of audience as well. So hoping it works. Hope people see this after the fact. And I hope you check out some conventions in your area. Conventions are always a fun way to relax.
oh, I just saw something here for you there, Carlo.
Ooh,
Pinball FX VR now available on MetaQuest.
oh
Hey.
man, oh man, that's the new one, right? The
uh,
newer one that came out, I should say.
the why I think I looked it up for you before, and it said it would work on the twos, but I could be mistaken.
I'm gonna have to get back into that headset. Jay's gonna kill me because I said, no, VR's dead, but now I want to get on pinball in VR. Oh, Paul, what you
You know how?
doing?
Yeah, real quick. I've said this on shows before. I'm always saying, for me, exclusives don't sell consoles. But that stupid Batman game on VR makes
Oh
me want
yes,
makes me want
yes.
a MetaQuest 3 so bad. For
No,
one stupid game for that stupid.
I do like that. I do like the Batman game. The problem I have with it is that I was bumping into objects as I played it.
Dude, you're supposed to have a wide open space. You can't be doing it in your closet. Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't work.
Ah. Hey, so apparently the VR one comes with 3 tables right off the bat, including a Battlestar Galactica table. Ooh, that looks really good.
Nice. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
I can. Carlos gonna go yelling at his wife. Okay, we're not eating next month. I need a new headset or I need a new
how
game.
how much is it, Paul? How much is the VR
The,
tables?
ooh, let me see.
Well, Paul's gonna get me hooked on this VR stuff.
Well, I know you're a pinball guy, is what I know. So
It's all Paul's fault, guys.
it's okay. I see your list on my thing, and I'm like, I gotta beat his score. And on a few of the tables I have, by the way. So
What? No,
what? Ooh,
Paul.
yes, yes.
No. No, Paul, back it up. Back it up, buddy.
Uh-huh. Yep, sorry. So it's so pinball effects. Where's the one for VR? I'm looking to see if I can get actual information. Their website kind of isn't that good. It kind of throws everything at you.
See if I can find it real.
Well, what I've never liked about him is I have all these different tables I've gotten for all the different versions of Pinball FX, but you always got they're like a Nintendo in that way. Every time they do a new version, you got to get the tables over again. It's
Yes. So it's $9.99, and then all the tables that you can add on are like $9.99 a piece. It doesn't have like the bundle. They do $14.99 for the Universal, and then the Williams tables.
I will say with the bundles they make it worth it. I will say they've always been real good about that. You know, you get 3 or 4 or 5 tables for, Snoopy pinball. Yeah. See, Pinball FX or oh, it's I didn't realize that. It's I thought Pinball FX was already on Xbox. Maybe I had the PC version. Oh no, because they've redone a couple of things. They also have Pinball FX M or whatever for the horror stuff, which I have a couple of those tables.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Looks good. Well, Paul, I think
Yep.
it's time to wrap up and tell our audience where they could find you.
In a homeless shelter near you. No,
No, Paul.
no. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, formerly known as Elon's Playground, formerly known as property of Tesla, now property of AI, whatever. At Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul, Xbox Cerebral Paul 921. And you can find me. I haven't been doing it lately, but sometimes on Tuesdays, Retro Renegades, Thursdays here on 4GQ TV, and Fridays with Wasted Wood Wise. I think that's about it right now. Oh, wait, forgot. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm also an editor at lordsofgaming.net. So if you'd like to see the content we're doing over there, check it out. Every once in a while, I do put articles out and such, but primarily I'm an editor. So if there's ever anything you see that's incorrect there, let me know and I will go smash some heads. No.
Well, everybody, you can find me at 4GQ TV and probably at a convention near you. Thank you for joining the show tonight and helping us talk about the Switch 2. We were very happy to talk about that one. And see you guys next time. Thank you very much.